Hello everybody, this is when you get bored at home and mums and dads, this makes a mess but that's okay because you've got plenty of time to clean it up. First thing to do is take off your jewels because they'll get all full of clay and not be very nice at the end of it all. Make sure it doesn't end up in the clay, otherwise that can be not very good. Okay, so you will be provided with a small amount of clay for your children. You can contact the school and we will organise that for you to be collected. Don't have to have any contact, but this is what you do with it. This is manufactured clay, so it's clean. It's got no organic matter whatsoever in it. It has got the perfect amount of water and it's just ready to go. If you end up with clay, if we run out, and it's really clay that's really hard and not very nice to work with, soak it for a little while. Some of this has been soaking for only about half an hour and it's starting to get really lovely and gooey, so that would be a good consistency to work with. Put a couple, the kids have been shown how to do this in the past, put a couple of holes in there and just dip a little bit of water in it over an ice cream container. I'm using very basic things here, all things that you can use from home. These are hummus lid, we've got yogurt container, everyday rolling pin, make sure that you wash it before you make the next lot of pastry. And just basic spoon and knife would be all you would need to do. And what I'm going to quickly show you to do today is how to make a basic kind of coil pot. So you have to make coils to make that. So I'm just going to move that out of the way because we don't need it anymore. So you'd open up your clay. Make sure your hands and the surface isn't too wet, because if it is, it will stick to the table and it'll cause you grief. And we don't want that. So don't cut your hand off. Take a little lump of clay out of there. This is for the base, so put that aside. Roll that into a ball. And about the size of the top of the hummus would be plenty. You could possibly even do it in there, but I'm not going to. And make sure the table isn't dirty or wet. And a couple of little rolls and turn it over onto a dry spot of the table. Don't grind the clay into the table. The kids know this, because if you do, very hard to take off again. This is actually a little bit damper than I thought it was going to be. Alright, and come up with a nice kind of base for your coils. And I'm actually going to use one of my bracelets instead. I'll just make a little mini one, because that isn't going to stretch that far. And using the back of the spoon and my bangle, so all things you might have at home. You don't have to have anything flash for this kind of art. In fact, most kinds of art doesn't need the fancy things. Okay, so that needs to be washed out later. Clean that off a little bit. Yep, that looks pretty good. And now for the coil. So put that aside. You won't be working slowly, so it won't have a lot of time to dry out. Get the kids to take a lump of clay and give it a bit of a rough roll to begin with, so that it's into like a fat sausage. I'll make jokes about it, you know, it being something else, a poo. But anyway, and you roll that gently. Now try and roll on this part of your hands, not the fingers, so not too much contact. I might just declutter a little bit here. Over there now. And just gently roll. Then bring this a little bit back to yourselves. I'll do it kind of backwards. You can rough up this surface a little bit, just around where you're going to put the coil, so that it adheres a little bit better. And you just then simply roll that up the bump and around. Good fun. And you're making something that's really useful. You can put your salt in and do Christmas presents. And then roll that out. And either in your hand, or you could put it on a surface like the lid again. You get your little fingers and you squish up and down all the way around. Put on there now. And then smooth it over. Keep moving it, finger in there, squishing those layers together. Now you have to do that inside and out, so I won't go all the way around. Now for the inside. Now you need to support it like a little hug. Put your hand out there on the outside and don't steal too much of the clay. The clay is probably, those coils was, I'd say about 1 centimetre thick. And you go all the way around, inside and out, smoothing that over. Now, not too much water, but when it starts to feel a little bit dry from the handling of your hot little hands and fingers, have a tiny bit of water around that just smooths over some of those surfaces. You shouldn't see where the coils have joined. It should be completely transparent. It looks like it's morphed out of the one bit of clay. Hug again to keep it so that it doesn't fall over from the pressure of your fingers. And just gently move it around. Kids are going to love it. You'll make a mess, but it's all good fun. This is when you get bored. Or not. Kids love doing this. They absolutely love it. And I think we've missed some on the outside. Yes, we couldn't do that. All the way around. Very nice. And then, of course, you put that aside. You've got a bit of scrap there. Pitch a bit more off here. Do it again. Remember that very unattractive shape. Doesn't have to be beautiful, but just as long as it's able to be rolled. Don't press too hard. On the table here, I have got a little bit of dirt, so if you're finding that it's catching... Ooh, horrible nose, sorry. Whee, toes running away. And roll that some more with this part of your hand, not your fingers, because it's like that. And if the kids press too hard, kids don't press too hard, it's going to, oh, hear that? Flop, flop, flop. It means that I pressed too hard. I deliberately did that. And then make it a little bit rounder, like that. There we go, beautiful. See, useful thing. That's what we're making. Once again, probably about 1 centimetre to go again. This is just a little pot. You commence where you ended, so pop it on there and wind it round like a big sausage. Big snaily looking thing. Ooh, fantastic. And it looks fatter than what you put it on. That's because we've used some of the clay to go up and down and the thumb has to go to join them. You need to steal a little bit of that clay. That's why it can't be too skinny. So about 1 centimetre, maybe a little bit under 1 centimetre in thickness. I'm hugging it again just to keep it in shape. If you don't do that and you press on it, eventually it'll all fall over. So it's nice to have it in the one shape. And then you can mould that up and down. You can make a beautiful vase. You can do all sorts of things. With that, just jumping ahead a little bit, you can get texture of things. This spoon I deliberately chose because it's got a really gorgeous pattern on it. You could, once you've joined it all together, a bit like baking a nice pie, you could put some shapes in there, press in like a little mould all the way around, and you get a really nice little leafy decorative pattern that goes all the way around. The kids could shape it up to be more like a bowl instead of a cylinder. Great fun. I think you're going to enjoy that one. Thank you.